Walaikum Assalam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to complete treatment of diabetes mellitus. Yesterday we have discussed about the diabetes and its types and various insulin preparations that are used for the treatment of diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes. So before starting the new lecture, I want to ask about the previous one. What are the different insulin preparations? Can you tell me what are the different insulin preparations? Please write it down in the chat box. Okay. Rapid acting insulin, as I told you, that it consists of the two chains of amino acids that is joined by the disulfide bond, and the modification in the sequence of amino acid can modify the pharmacokinetic profile, only pharmacokinetic profile, and decreases or increases the duration of action, and may increase the effect, rapid effect or slow onset, etc. So we classify insulin according to the duration of action, because all insulin has the same mechanism of action, has the same effect on the body. The only difference in the duration of action. So ताहिर आपने बताया कि रैपिड एक्टिंग, ओके. महानूर लॉन्ग एक्टिंग आपने बताया, फरियाल ने शॉर्ट एक्टिंग, एंड महानूर ने बताया रैपिड एक्टिंग एंड इंटरमीडिएट एक्टिंग. ओके, रैपिड एक्टिंग और शॉर्ट एक्टिंग कुछ बुक्स में ये एक ही हेडिंग में लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है. स्पेशली लिपन कॉर्ड में एक ही हेडिंग में लिखा हुआ है कि रैपिड एक्टिंग एंड शॉर्ट एक्टिंग. सो वी क्लासीफाई, मैंने इसको सेपरेट कर दिया आप लोगों की ईज के लिए. सो वी क्लासीफाई इनटू शॉर्ट एक्टिंग, रैपिड एक्टिंग, इंटरमीडिएट एक्टिंग एंड लॉन्ग एक्टिंग. अब कौन कौन से हैं इसमें? रैपिड एक्टिंग इंसुलिन, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द रैपिड एक्टिंग इंसुलिन? What is the name of rapid acting? Very good. Insulin, Lispro, Aspart or Glulicin. Okay. And what is the short acting? Short acting, we have only one. The classification of insulin is very easy, and you can remember because it can be asked in the exam. Yes, it is a regular insulin, and it can be used in emergency situation and can be used by intravenous route as well. Clear? And then we have intermediate acting. Intermediate acting insulin is called, okay, NPH. Simply आप उसको use कर सकते हो कि NPH insulin, or we can say isofan insulin. Isofan insulin. Intermediate acting insulin and long acting insulin is usually used in combination with short acting or rapid acting insulin, because long acting and intermediate acting insulin maintain the basal secretion of insulin, basal rate, and the short acting and rapid acting maintain the bolus increase in the insulin that can occur after meal or after taking any food. Clear? Okay, so long acting, this is NPH, is intermediate acting, and long acting are insulin glargine or insulin Zetimer, good, and D-Gludac. Okay, and D-Gludac. This is a D-Gludac is a ultra long acting. Its duration of action is more than the Detimer and Glargine, and it can maintain. If it is used thrice a week, it can maintain the basal rate of insulin secretion. Insulin is used in type 1 diabetes when having absolute deficiency of insulin. As you all know that diabetes is a metabolic disorder and it is characterized by hyperglycemia caused by the absolute or relative deficiency of insulin. In type 1 diabetes, there is a complete absolute deficiency of insulin. In type 2 diabetes, there is a relative deficiency or there is a insulin resistance. Okay. So type 1 diabetes is totally dependent on insulin, while the type 2 diabetes is mainly treated by oral hypoglycemic drugs. Because in this type of diabetes, the beta cell of Langerhans is still working and they are secreting insulin. But sometimes the tissue has a resistance to insulin. Insulin will not bind with the receptor and will not produce its effect. Or sometimes there may be a decreased insulin secretion, but the beta cell is still working. So in this condition, we can use diet, we can use exercise, we can use drugs that can lower the blood glucose level, and some drugs may increase the insulin release. So by this way, we can treat this diabetes. But sometime in emergency condition or when the diabetes is not controlled by the drugs, then we can use insulin in type 2 diabetes. As I told you, the clinical uses of insulin, all of you must know the clinical uses of insulin. What are those apart from the type 1 diabetes? And you must know the rationale why insulin is why oral hypoglycemic drug is not used in type 1 diabetes, or why insulin is used in type 1 diabetes. So you must have a rationale. Okay, very good. In severe infection, in before or after surgery, in pregnancy, or patient having diabetic ketoacidosis or hyperosmolar coma, in all these conditions, insulin should be used, even in the टाइप 2 डायबिटीज बिकॉज स्टूडेंट्स का जो है वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है कि इंसुलिन सिर्फ टाइप 1 में यूज होगी और टाइप 2 में तो ड्रग्स ही यूज होंगे. सो ये आप प्रोसेस को क्लियर करो अपना. ओके, गुड. The most common problem with the insulin is hypoglycemia. Okay, hypoglycemia is, as you know, it is more dangerous than the hyperglycemia, because hypoglycemia quickly can cause the death, and hyperglycemia slowly damage the organs. Okay, uncontrolled type 2 diabetes में भी ये इंसुलिन यूज होगी जिसमें और ड्रग्स इफेक्टिव ना हो. Okay, so hypoglycemia is the main problem, and hypoglycemia को आप कैसे treat करोगे? You have symptoms हम लोगों ने discuss किया. We have a long list of symptoms. Sometimes patient may have a symptom, sometimes patient may have no symptom and just go going into the unconscious state. So in all these conditions, diabetic patient must have some sweet thing along with this. उनके बैग में कोई होनी चाहिए का, और क्योंकि जो भी टाइप 1 डायबिटीज है उसमें सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम यही होता है कि हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया. हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया क्यों होता है? इफ पेशेंट स्किप द मील, अगर उसने नहीं किया है, स्टूडेंट ने एक्सेसिव एक्सरसाइज कर ली है, ठीक है, शुगर कंटेंट उतना नहीं किया, ये खाना उतना नहीं खाया, जिसकी वजह से जो है ना इंसुलिन ज्यादा हो गई है और ग्लूकोज कम हो जाता है. और उसकी ट्रीटमेंट यही है कि आप कोई स्वीट चीज दें. अगर पेशेंट कॉन्शियस है तो कोई चीज, मीठी चीज, शरबत बना के पी ले, कुछ टॉफी या कैंडी को ले ले. और अगर अनकॉन्शियस पेशेंट है तो यू मे गिव द डेक्सट्रोज वाटर बाय इंट्रावेनस रूट, और यू मे गिव द इंजेक्शन ऑफ ग्लूकागोन इंजेक्शन बाय इंट्रामस्कुलर रूट. यूजुअली हम यूज करते हैं डेक्सट्रोज वाटर थ्रू द आईवी रूट, उससे पेशेंट कॉन्शियस हो जाता है. Okay, now we come to the oral hypoglycemic drug. Remember, the diabetes is a very, very important topic to become a good physician. Without the knowledge of diabetes, because every third person, every fourth person in your clinic will have a diabetes. In diabetes and hypertension both are, वो समझ लो कि बहन भाई हैं. ठीक है, बहुत सारे पेशेंट ऐसे होंगे जिसमें हाइपरटेंशन भी होगा और डायबिटीज भी होगा. So the knowledge of diabetes is very, very important practically. आपकी practical life के लिए कुछ topic होते हैं theoretical, लेकिन ये आपकी practical life के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. Okay, so now we start again the topic, today's topic. Usually in type 2 diabetes, as I told you yesterday, that they have two problems. Either they have a abnormal or deficient insulin secretion, or there is a resistance to insulin action. There is a resistance to insulin action in which insulin is not utilized to produce its effect, and it will not bind with the receptor. So in type 2 diabetes, both problems may have. So what is the treatment of type 2 diabetes? Type 2 diabetes is also treated with the diet and exercise. Diet in diabetes, the treatment of diabetes, diet and exercise play a very important role. किसी और डिजीज में इतने शायद इम्पोर्टेंट ना हो, लेकिन डाइट एंड एक्सरसाइज इज एक्सट्रीमली इम्पोर्टेंट इन डायबिटीज. और अगर आप लोगों के सराउंडिंग में कोई पेशेंट हो तो आपने देखा होगा कि diabetes is a separate field. In medicine, it is also a separate field, and some doctors have a specialization in diabetes. They are called diabetologists, and they have a chart of diet. Okay, which diet is suitable for the diabetic patient and which diet should be avoided, especially the sweet. Even some fruits should be avoided, or wheat sometimes it is avoided, or it has a long list of food that can be used by the diabetic patient. And daily exercise is also very important, because during exercise our body utilize glucose without insulin. So exercise help us to maintain our blood glucose level. Secondly, in type 2 diabetes, we can use oral hypoglycemic drugs. अब इसको आप oral बेशक ना कहें, आप कहें इसको, because in some drugs are only used by the intravenous route or subcutaneous route, like insulin, but this is an older name, so still ये आपका चला आ रहा है कि oral hypoglycemic therapy. Third one is last is the insulin therapy. If patient has no response to the two or three drugs of hypoglycemic drugs, then we can shift the patient to the insulin therapy. So these are the main treatment. We have discussed the insulin, so we will not go in the detail of this. We come to the drugs. We have insulin secretagogues. As I told you, there is a two problem, either with the release of insulin or with the effect of insulin, or we can say insulin resistance. So we have some drugs that increases the release of insulin from the pancreas, that is known as insulin secretagogue. And in this group, we have sulfonylureas and metoclopramide. ठीक है, उसमें जो drug है that is glipizide. And second one, we have as insulin sensitizer. They increase the sensitivity of insulin, and these drugs are the bigonoids. Bigonoids में एक ही drug है metformin, and metformin is extremely important drug for the treatment of diabetes. In almost all 95 and 98% of patients first take metformin when they are newly diagnosed, because it is quite safe. It has no problem with hypoglycemia. So it is very effective and quite safe drug for the diabetes. Or even it can be used in combinations with some other drugs. So metformin is very important, and you must remember it. Then we have alpha glycosidase inhibitor. Alpha glycosidase inhibitor, they inhibit the reabsorption of glucose from the intestine, and the drug is acarbose. And then we have thiazolidinedione. It has two drugs, pioglitazone and rosiglitazone. This group is also increase the sensitivity of insulin to the tissues. So ये bigonoids के साथ इसका जो है समझो कि भाई और बहन है, ठीक है. Then amylin analog. As you know, amylin is a hormone that is released along with insulin from the beta cell of pancreas, and it has a main effect on the gastrointestinal tract. It delay the gastric emptying. It satisfy the satiety or reduce the satiety, or etc. So it also reduces the blood glucose level, and it is a new class of the drug, and this drug is only available by the subcutaneous injection. It is not available in the oral form. Then we have incretin modulators. Incretin is also a hormone that is released in response to the oral glucose intake. हम orally जब ग्लूकोज लेते हैं तो GIT से कुछ हार्मोन्स रिलीज होते हैं, that is known as belongs to the incretin family. ठीक है, that hormone is glucagon like peptide 1 or some other hormones, but this one is very important. And we have drugs. This hormone increases the release of insulin. This hormone increases the release of insulin, and the drugs are exenatide, or we have a list of drugs we will discuss later on. Then we have in same group, in incretin modulator, we have second drug, DPP4 inhibitor, dipeptidyl peptidase. This is an enzyme that destroy this GLP-1. This enzyme destroys the GLP-1. So when we give the antagonist or the drug that block this enzyme, we can improve the level of GLP-1 and can increase the release of insulin. So these are the main classes: insulin secretagogues, bigonides, alpha glycosidase inhibitors, thiazolidinediones, amylin analog, incretin modulators. This is again the classification, because classification is very important, and all of you have to remember this. And usually the drugs are 2-3 drugs are in each group, so it is not very difficult to remember. Okay, in insulin secretagogue, in the first group, as I told you, in that stimulate the insulin release are the sulfonyl ureas and meglitinide. These both of these group increase the insulin release. Drug that increase the sensitivity of insulin, or that lower the blood glucose level, is bigonides and thiazolidinedione. And the drugs that inhibit or slow the intestinal absorption of glucose are alpha glucosidase inhibitor. Alpha glucosidase is an enzyme that is required for the absorption of glucose. So the inhibition of this enzyme will decrease the absorption of glucose from the intestine. Then we have incretin mimetic drugs, that GLP-1 receptor agonist and dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors, and the drug that these are the few other newer group. This is a newer group that inhibit the renal reabsorption of glucose. As you all know, the glucose is filtered through the glomeruli and it is reabsorbed from the proximal convoluted tubule with the help of a specific transporter, and this transporter is sodium glucose co-transporter. These transporter transport the glucose back into the blood through the proximal tubule. So by inhibiting this transporter, we can increase the glucose excretion from the body and maintain the blood glucose level. So this is a newer class of anti-diabetic drugs. Last one is the bremelanotide, that is a synthetic amylin analog. Okay. As you all know that this is the different organs of our body involved in the glucose absorption, glucose production, or utilization. So we have some drugs that sorry. Great. Okay. So these are the sulfonyl ureas and meglitinide. They act on the beta cell of the pancreas, and they increase the release of uh, uh, insulin. Okay, they increase the release of insulin. DPP4 inhibitor, they decreases the glucose level, because they by acting on the gut से incretin related hormones release होते हैं, जो कि जिसको inhibit करता है DPP, और those hormone increases the release of insulin. Then we have bigonides, thiazolidinedione, and these drugs also inhibit the production of glucose production from the liver. In type 2 diabetes, liver is also an important source of glucose production in type 2 diabetes through the gluconeogenesis. And then alpha glycosidase inhibitor that inhibit the absorption of glucose from the stomach, and thiazolidinedione, bigonides, They decreases the insulin resistance and increase utilization of glucose by the muscles, adipose tissues, etc. First group that we will discuss is the biguanides. Biguanides is it has only one drug that is known as metformin, and it is known as insulin sensitizer because it increases the sensitivity of insulin. It is the primary drug. It is a primary drug that is used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. It can be used alone or it can be used in combination with some other drugs to control the diabetes. Bigonides decreases the appetite, so it can causes the weight loss, and it is ideal for obese patients. It is ideal for obese patients. Bigonides decreases the absorption of glucose from the intestine, from the gastrointestinal tract. It improves the glucose uptake and its utilization by the muscles and the adipose tissues, and it also decreases the production of glucose from the liver. So by all these ways, they improve the blood glucose level and improve the diabetes. Uh, Another important point related to bigonides, as I told you earlier in the last lecture, that we have a limit. We have a limit of the normal blood glucose level and the diabetic, and in the period in between the normal limits and the limits that is in occur in the diabetes, we have impaired glucose tolerance. We say impaired glucose tolerance. That is, for example, as I told you that in fasting the normal is 100 fasting blood glucose level, and in diabetic patients 126 is at 126 we can label that it had patient has a diabetes. So between 100 and 126 is the gap period, and if the patient having a blood glucose level between 100 and 125 in fasting, then patient may have impaired glucose tolerance and may develop diabetes in future. Okay, may develop diabetes in future. If metformin is used in that type of patients, then it may inhibit the development of diabetes. जिन पेशेंट्स में impaired glucose tolerance होता है या जो प्री डायबिटिक वी कैन से, तो उसमें डायबिटीज की फॉर्मेशन या उसकी डेवलपमेंट या उसको प्रिवेंट करती है अगर मेटफॉर्मिन उस पीरियड में यूज कर लिया जाए along with the diet and exercise. So this is a beneficial point. Metformin का main mechanism क्या है? They inhibit the glucose production from the liver. ठीक है? By acting on this enzyme, this is a AMP activated protein kinase. ठीक है? AMP activated protein kinase. This is a specific enzyme that is activated by metformin, and this enzyme produce all these effects: increase the glucose uptake, increase glycogen synthesis, decrease lipid synthesis, decrease gluconeogenesis, and it increase the improve the GLUT4 transporters, etc. So all these effects improve the glucose level in the blood and improve the diabetes. Another picture that shows the effect of metformin on different uh, organs. It decreases the gluconeogenesis by acting on the liver. Glycogenolysis को inhibit करती है, fatty acid oxidation को inhibit करती है. It also improves the lipid profile. Metformin also improves the lipid profile as well. On the skeletal muscle, it improves the insulin uptake, glucose uptake, sorry, glycogenesis, fatty acid decrease करती है fatty acid oxidation को. It increase the anaerobic glucose metabolism, and it also metabolize the decrease the metabolism of lactate. So metformin, if it is used in for prolonged period of time in patient having renal impairment, then un patient में metformin may cause lactic acidosis, because along with the gluconeogenesis, वो gluconeogenesis को liver में inhibit करते तो साथ ही lactic acid metabolism भी inhibit हो जाता है. So prolonged use, this is a rare problem or rare adverse effect with metformin, but it can occur. Metformin can be used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, especially with in the newly diagnosed patient, or it can be used along with some other drug if it is diabetes blood glucose level is not controlled. And the second clinical use, it is commonly asked in the Viva. or even in the MCQs, because सबका ख्याल होता है कि जी मेटफॉर्मिन ये जितनी भी ड्रग्स हैं सिर्फ डायबिटीज में यूज होती हैं, बट मेटफॉर्मिन आल्सो यूज इन पॉलीसिस्टिक ओवेरियन डिजीज PCOS. आप लोगों ने अक्सर लोगों ने सुना हुआ होगा PCOS, पॉलीसिस्टिक ओवेरियन डिजीज. It is characterized by insulin resistance and infertility and increased hair growth, increased weight gain. All these things occur in polycystic ovarian disease, and so metformin can improve the weight gain, can improve the insulin sensitivity, and sometimes they may improve the infertility. So a metformin can be used in polycystic ovarian disease along with the type 2 diabetes. The most common adverse effects are the gastrointestinal, like anorexia, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, that can occur in 20% of patients. In 20% of patients, initially, patient may have anorexia, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, but in 3 to 4% of patients, metformin should be stop because of excessive diarrhea. Diarrhea की वजह से 3 to 4% patient stopped using metformin because it causes very severe diarrhea. ठीक है. Lactic acidosis, as I told you, if the metformin is used for long period of time in patient having renal or hepatic impairment, then there is a chances of lactic acidosis, because lactic acid will be accumulated in the body and may cause this lactic acidosis. Vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 deficiency is can occur with very 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 long use of metformin for years. अगर ये use की जाए for years, then they may cause vitamin B12 deficiency, because it impair the absorption of vitamin B12 from the in the gut, in the gastrointestinal tract. So it may cause vitamin B12 deficiency. Yearly vitamin B12 level should be done in patient having patient using bigonides or metformin. It is contraindicated in hepatic impairment, renal impairment, alcoholism, and in heart failure. Now we come to the thiazolidinedione derivative, and this group has two drugs, rosiglitazone and pioglitazone. Rosiglitazone and pioglitazone, they are also called insulin sensitizers because they increase the sensitivity of insulin. And this group also has a favorable effect on the lipid profile. They decrease the triglyceride level and increase the HDL, high density lipoprotein, without affecting the cholesterol and other lipids. So it can have it can be beneficial in patient having hyperlipidemia along with the diabetes. And it can be used as a single drug, or it can be used in combination with other drugs. These rosiglitazone and pioglitazone improve the decrease the hepatic glucose output, decrease the gluconeogenesis in the liver, increase glucose uptake and utilization by the muscles and the adipose tissue, similar like metformin. Thiazolidinedione mechanism is quite different from the metformin, because it activates the peroxisome proliferator activated receptor gamma. Peroxisome proliferator activated receptor gamma. This receptor belongs to the family of nuclear receptors like steroid receptors. जिस तरह steroid receptors थे ना, nuclear receptors. Similarly, ये PPAR gamma is also a nuclear receptor, and activation of this receptor modify the gene that is modify the gene that control the glucose and lipid metabolism. So and this receptor is present in the liver, in the adipose tissues, and in the muscles. And it decreases the lipolysis, it decreases fatty acid concentration. It has some other effects on the adipose tissue. So it decreases the leptin, tissue necrotic factor, adiponectin. एंड ये आगे की चीजें हैं, आप अगर ना भी याद करें तो कोई मसला नहीं है. यू जस्ट रिमेंबर दे इम्प्रूव द इंसुलिन सेंसिटिविटी एंड इंसुलिन यूटिलाइजेशन and improve the glucose and lipid metabolism. Okay, so it is 99% absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract. It is usually given by the oral route and it is metabolized by the liver. 99% drug bind with the plasma protein, so it has a very high plasma protein binding. Its half-life is 3 to 4 hours, and they are eliminated, metabolized in the liver and excreted in the urine or in the feces. In both ways they are excreted out. This group may cause fluid retention, or sometimes patient may have a mild to moderate edema. Okay, fluid retention or edema, and this problem may be this adverse effect may cause problem if patient having a heart problem, current the heart failure or any other cardiac problem, then fluid retention can be a problematic. So in this type of patient you should not use thiazolidinedione. It can cause atypical extremity bone fracture in women after the prolonged use, because it decreases the bone mineral density. This group of drug decreases the bone mineral density, so prolonged use can cause atypical extremity bone fracture in females. It can cause anemia. It can cause weight gain, especially if it is used with sulfonylureas or insulin. Weight gain कब होगा? जब ये यूज होगी सल्फोनाइल के साथ और इंसुलिन के साथ, and then it may cause headache. So there are 4-5 adverse effects हैं जो आपको याद रखने हैं. Fluid retention, mild to moderate edema, atypical bone fracture, anemia, weight gain, and headache. So thiazolidinedione is a act on the peroxisome proliferator activated gamma receptor that is present in the liver, adipose tissues, and the skeletal muscles, and they causes the transcription of the gene that maintain the glucose level and insulin signal transduction and lipid metabolism. So they improve the glucose utilization and decrease the glucose production from the liver. And by this way, they improve the type 2 diabetes. Now we come to the sulfonylureas. The sulfonylureas was the oldest group, and it is very effectively used in type 2 diabetes. It has two generations, the first generation and second generation. The first generation is not used nowadays commonly. The preferred generation is the second generation. Second generation is preferred. Although you must know the name: tolbutamide, acetohexamide, tolazamide, and chlorpropamide. These are the first generation sulfonylureas. In second generation, practically these drugs are used. Glipizide, they all start from the G, so it is easy to remember: glipizide, glyburide, glimepiride, and gliclazide. ठीक है, इसको आपने याद रखना है. दे आर वेरी कॉमनली यूज, स्पेशली गिलेमिप्राइड, एमरिल आप लोगों ने अक्सर सुना होगा, डायमैक्रोन अक्सर सुना होगा. दीज आर द ट्रेड नेम. ठीक है, दीज आर द ट्रेड नेम्स एंड these drugs available with these names: glipizide, glyburide, glimepiride, and gliclazide. Sulfonylureas, as I told you, it is an insulin secretagogue, and it improves the release of insulin from the pancreatic beta cell, and it causes the weight gain. Sulfonylureas usually causes the weight gain, so it is ideal for the thin and lean patients. It decreases the glucagon secretion, and the glyburide, it can be used alone. Sulfonylureas can be used alone, or it can be used in combination with metformin, thiazolidinedione, alpha-glucosidase inhibitors, or other anti-diabetic drugs. So diabetes can be treated by single drug or can be used by combination of the drug depending upon the condition of the patient or the glycemic control. Glyburide will not cross the placental barrier. Glyburide will not cross the placental barrier, so it can be used as an alternative in pregnancy, in diabetic patients and during pregnancy, because it cannot cross the placental barrier. So it will not decrease the blood glucose level of the fetus. Glipizide or glimepiride can be used in renal dysfunction. If patient having any renal problem, then these drugs, because they will not affect its metabolism, is not affected with the renal dysfunction, and that these drugs can be used safely in elderly patients. Can be used safely in elderly patients. Sulfonylureas increases the release of insulin by acting on the ATP dependent potassium channel. ATP, these are the ATP dependent potassium channel. Sulfonylureas block this channel, ATP dependent potassium channel, and the blockage of these channels increases the calcium influx, increases the causes the depolarization. Blockage of these potassium channel causes depolarization, and because of this depolarization, the calcium channels will be open and increase calcium influx. And increased calcium inside the cell can cause exocytosis of insulin. Can cause the exocytosis of insulin, and this insulin is released from the beta cell. This is a mechanism of even the normal mechanism of insulin release, and the mechanism through the sulfonylureas. ठीक है, क्या करते हैं sulfonylureas? They block the ATP dependent potassium channel and causes depolarization, and because of this depolarization there is increased calcium influx, and increased calcium influx causes the diffusion of insulin bound vesicle and release insulin through the exocytosis. This is a mechanism of action of insulin, release insulin. Sulfonylureas, as you know, it is only used in diabetes mellitus, type 2 diabetes, alone or in combination with other drugs. The problem with sulfonylureas is the hypoglycemia. The main problem with sulfonylureas, like insulin, is the hypoglycemia, because it can because they increase the release of insulin. They increase the release of insulin, or if the patient having skip the meal or has a vigorous exercise or some other problem, then patient may goes into the hypoglycemia. So if you prescribe sulfonylurea to the patient, so you should consider about the hypoglycemia and advise the patient. Then it can cause weight gain. That's why I told you that it can be used in patients who are thin and lean. It can cause hyperinsulinemia, increased insulin release. It can cause skin rash in 3% of patients, nausea, vomiting, and cholestasis in the liver. They can cause nausea, vomiting, and cholestasis. So main adverse effects are the hypoglycemia, weight gain, skin rash, hyperinsulinemia, and nausea and vomiting of sulfonylureas. They have important drug interaction, and these drugs, thiazide diuretics, corticosteroids, estrogen, phenytoin, they may decreases its effectiveness, and the dose. If sulfonylureas is giving along with these drugs, then dose must be increased. Okay, then dose must be increased. If it is used with thiazide diuretics, corticosteroids, estrogen, phenytoin or other hormone, then dose must be increased because it decreases the effectiveness. These drugs, SE inhibitors, sulfonamides, salicylates, NSAIDs, gemfibrozil, and alcohol, they increase the hypoglycemic effect of sulfonylureas. They increase the hypoglycemic effect of sulfonylureas. So if you use sulfonylureas along with this, you have to consider the increased hypoglycemic effect. And remember, it is more dangerous than hyperglycemia if it is not treated quickly. एंड दिस इज वेरी कॉमन कि एसी इनहिबिटर्स अगर किसी पेशेंट को दिए हैं, डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स को भी दे देते हैं, हाइपरटेंसिव पेशेंट्स को सल्फोनामाइड, सैलिसाइलेट्स या एनसेड्स तो बहुत कॉमनली यूज होते हैं कि इवन कोई पेशेंट डायबिटिक पेशेंट ड्रग ले रहा है और उसमें आपने उसको पेन होता है या फीवर होता है तो वो खुद ब खुद तो ये जो है सेल्फ प्रिस्क्राइब रेमेडीज है, एनसेड हो गया, especially alcohol is not very common in our country, so this is not a very much problem. Then we come to the metaglatinide drugs. Metaglatinide drugs are two drugs, repaglinide and netiglinide. Okay, repaglinide and netiglinide. These drugs are also insulin secretagogue, and they increases the release of insulin like sulfonylureas. But they have a rapid onset and short duration of action. The sulfonylureas, they have a slow onset and long duration, while this group has a rapid onset and short duration of action. So they are ideal to control the postprandial blood glucose level or blood glucose level that is high after meal. Okay, it will use just before the meal or 15-20 minutes before the meal, and that this drug control the postprandial glucose increase. It should not be used with sulfonylureas because both have a same mechanism, both increases the release of insulin. So the risk of hypoglycemia is more with this drug. Okay? The risk of hypoglycemia is more with this group of drugs. Alpha glycosidase inhibitors are the acarbose and maglitol. Maglitol and acarbose. As I told you that alpha glucoside is an enzyme that is responsible for the metabolism of glucose and absorption of glucose from the gastrointestinal tract. So by inhibiting this enzyme, we can decrease the glucose absorption from the gastrointestinal tract and can reduces the postprandial or the glucose secretion after meal can be reduced. Okay, so it decreases the glucose absorption and decrease the postprandial blood glucose concentration after eating anything. After eating anything, the जो भी blood glucose level बढ़ता है उसको reduce कर देता है. It should be administered with meal. It has very rapid action, so it should be used with meal. ठीक है, before meal इसका कोई काम नहीं है. It can be used in combination with other oral anti-diabetic drugs. It may cause flatulence, diarrhea, and abdominal bloating. All these adverse effects is because of increased glucose load in the lower intestine. जब glucose absorb नहीं होगा gastrointestinal tract से, तो it will remains in the gastrointestinal tract and goes forward in the lower intestine, and because of the increased concentration of glucose that can go then attract the water osmotically, that can attract the water in the intestine osmotically, so it may cause flatulence, diarrhea, and abdominal bloating. This is all because of the increased glucose load in the lower intestine. It should be contraindicated in inflammatory bowel disease, colonic ulceration, or intestinal obstruction. Incretin mimetic drugs, as we discussed, that it has two types: GLP-1 agonist and DPP-4 antagonist. And I have told you that incretin is a hormone that is released when we take glucose or when we eat anything that has a glucose. Then incretin like hormones are released, and incretin like hormones are the GLP-1 or GIP. Okay, these hormones are released, and these hormones क्या करते हैं? They increase the release of insulin. They increase the release of insulin, and by this way they improve the glucose level in our body. The GLP-1, this hormone is destroyed by DPP-4, dipeptidyl peptidase 4 enzyme. This enzyme destroys the GLP-1 and decrease its effect. So by using the antagonist of DPP-4, we can improve the level of GLP-1 and can improve the level of insulin and glucose in our body. Glucagon like peptides are the exenatide. This is a basic drug. Exenatide, a prototype drug, and the liraglutide, LB-glutide and dulaglutide. अब आप ये देख रहे हो इन तीनों ड्रग्स में the glutide is the same. Glutide is a lira, LB, and dula. Lira, LB, and dula. So it is not very difficult to remember. Exenatide is a separate, although tide is same. Like all these drugs, so it has four drugs as the exenatide, liraglutide, LB-glutide, and dulaglutide, and they are available in parenteral preparation and used subcutaneously like insulin, and they improve the glucose dependent insulin secretion. The chances of hypoglycemia with this group of drug is very less because the insulin release by this hormone dependent on the glucose level. अगर तो स्टमक में ग्लूकोज लेवल ज्यादा है तो इंसुलिन की ज्यादा रिलीज होगी, अगर ग्लूकोज लेवल कम है तो इंसुलिन की रिलीज खत्म हो जाएगी या कम हो जाएगी. So it depends on the insulin, so there is a less chances of hypoglycemia. It improve the glucose utilization by the muscle and the adipose tissues, and also decrease the release of glucagon. As you know, glucagon अगर hypoglycemia होता है तो फिर release होता है is hyperglycemic hormone. So अगर वो normal हो जाएगा blood glucose level तो glucagon release नहीं होगा. It also slow the gastric emptying and increase satiety and decrease food intake. ठीक है, so ये food intake को भी कम करेगा और जो है वो एपेटाइट को कम करेगा, तो इसकी वजह से भी ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल कम हो जाएगा. It can cause nausea and pancreatitis, particularly in patients having hypertriglyceridemia or gallstone. ठीक है, pancreatitis normal patients में नहीं होगा, अगर होगा तो उन patients में होगा those have gallstone or hypertriglyceridemia. Otherwise, it is a quite safe drug. Then dipeptidase inhibitors. These are the sitagliptin, sexagliptin, linagliptin and alogliptin. अब आप ये देख रहे हो कि इसके आखिर में भी gliptin आ रहा है, gliptin, ठीक है. Sitagliptin, it is a prototype drug. Sitagliptin, sexagliptin, linagliptin and alogliptin. These are the four drugs, and these drugs inhibit the enzyme dipeptidase 4, and by inhibiting this enzyme we can increase the level of GLP-1, and GLP-1 stimulate the insulin release and improve the utilization of glucose by the muscles and adipose tissues. It can be used as a single drug, or it can be used in combination with other drugs, and the beneficial point of this group of drug, it is available by oral route. It is available in the form of tablets. So sitagliptin alone or in combination is widely used nowadays. It is very commonly used nowadays to control the blood glucose level or to control the type 2 diabetes. It can cause nasopharyngitis, upper respiratory tract infections, headache, etc. Okay. It has very specific adverse effect. तो जितनी भी जो भी एंटी डायबिटिक ड्रग्स हैं, they have very specific adverse effect, and it is easy to remember. आपने वही nausea, vomiting, diarrhea से आपने start नहीं करना है. Then we come to the last group is second last, that is the SGLT2 inhibitor or sodium glucose co-transporter 2 inhibitors. These drugs are the canagliflozin, dapagliflozin, and empagliflozin. Okay, these are the three drugs in this group: canagliflozin, dapagliflozin, and empagliflozin. These drugs, as I told you, that normally glucose is filtered from the glomeruli and it is reabsorbed with the help of these specific transporter from the proximal tubule. It is 100% reabsorbed. So if we inhibit these transporters, the glucose will not reabsorb again into the blood and excreted out from the body in the form of glycosuria. Okay? Glycosuria, and by this way they decrease the blood glucose level. This is a newer class of the drug, and I think it is not available in Pakistan. Then amylin analog. Amylin and the drug, it has a single drug, that is pramlintide. Okay, Melinitide. This is a myelin analog, and a myelin is a hormone that is released along with insulin from the beta cell, but it has main effect on the gastrointestinal tract. It delay the gastric emptying, decrease the postparental glucagon secretion, and improve satiety. But this drug only administered by the subcutaneous route. It cannot be used by the oral route. Uh, if it is used in combination with insulin, it can reduces the insulin requirement up to 50%. If it is used along with insulin, it will reduces the insulin requirement by 50% and decreases the chances of hypoglycemia. Decreases the chances of hypoglycemia. Mainly it causes the disturbance in the gastrointestinal tract and may cause nausea, vomiting, anorexia, etc. So this is all about the diabetes. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me. There is no question, or you are sleeping. कि वो आपने नेट खोला है, लगाया है उसको, जो आजकल फेसबुक पे और वो हर जगह वो आ रहा है कि टीचर्स पढ़ रहे हैं और स्टूडेंट सो रहे हैं, है ना? तो सो गए हो आप लोग? आंसर दो, फिर मैं क्या पूछ रही हूँ आप लोगों से. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन यू कैन आस्क. सारी चीजें समझ में आ गई हैं. ओके, इन टाइप 2 डायबिटीज वी आर यूजिंग, हम एक क्विक रिव्यू कर लेते हैं उसका. टाइप 2 डायबिटीज में, इन टाइप 2 डायबिटीज वी आर यूजिंग ओरल हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक ड्रग्स. इन ओरल हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक ड्रग्स वी हैव insulin secretagogues, the group that increase the insulin release, and these drugs are the sulfonylureas and metaglenide. Okay, sulfonylureas and metaglenide. Then second group, we have that increase the insulin sensitivity, increase insulin sensitivity and decrease glucose production from the liver. And this group has bigonides, metformin, and और कौन सा था, thiazolidinedione. Thiazolidinedione. These two groups of drugs includes in the insulin sensitizers. ठीक है. The other drug that inhibit the insulin glucose absorption is alpha glycosidase inhibitor. Alpha glycosidase inhibitor acarbose. And then we have amylin analog, that is pramlintide, and this also decrease the glucose, improve satiety, decrease glucose absorption, improve insulin release, etc. Then we have incretin-based therapies, that is GLP-1 agonist and DPP-4 antagonist. DPP-4 antagonist are the sitagliptin, ठीक है, और GLP-1 agonist are the exenatide, ठीक है. Then we have the sodium glucose transport inhibitors, ठीक है. So these are the groups, different groups of drugs that can be used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. In the first line drug or the drug of choice for all patients is metformin. Metformin is used for almost all newly diagnosed cases because it is quite safe. It has no chance of hypoglycemia that can produce a problem in diabetic patient, and it reduces the weight, it improves the appetite, so it has very less adverse effect as compared to the other group of drugs. So metformin is a first choice. Then you can use sulfonylureas, thiazolidinedione, or other group of drugs. These drugs can be used alone or can be used in combination if the blood glucose level is not controlled. Drug is not only the treatment. When you advise the patient, you must advise about the diet and about the exercise as well, along with the drugs. Only drug is not sufficient to improve the blood glucose level. Diet and exercise also play a very important role. So you have to inform the patient about all these things. So this is all about the diabetes. If you have any question, then you can ask. Otherwise, Allah.